Shall we?
What's up, people? Welcome to another edition of the Snyder Cut Round Tables. I am your host, Prime, the Godfather. I got some gentlemen on the panel. We're going to talk about some great stuff pertaining to everything that's Zack Snyder, but also all the news that happened with DC FanDome, everything that happened over this past weekend. So we're going to talk about that, give everybody's perspective. So they can, so we can talk some stuff and also have some theories on what's going to be going on pertaining to the actual movie slash series and going forward. So I'm going to go ahead and let everybody do this briefly. Introduce yourselves. Let the people know what you do, what you're about. Let's go ahead and speak to my man Steve Kassan. Tell him about yourself. Let's do this briefly, gentlemen. We don't want to go long-winded. Let's get it going. Go ahead, Steve. Tell the people about yourself.
Then y'all know my name is Steve Kassan. I am an actor in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, home of the NBA champs, still the Toronto Raptors. And also when Prime gives the call out, when Prime shines the release the Snyder Cut symbol, I gotta answer the call. We all answer the call, and I'm here with the other men. And I'm here to listen to what Prime's gotta ask, and we gotta answer. So now I take it off to the next man, to the next night. I give the sword to you, Christian.
Man, I don't know if I can follow that up. That was like it threw me off. I wasn't expecting that. That was intense, man. I can't follow that up.
Don't be intense when Prime calls, man. When Prime
you have to be. You have to be. If you're not, you're not even worthy of this. My name is Christian. I'm excited to be on here. I love Zack Snyder. I've loved all his movies since he started making movies. So I'm stoked to just talk about this, man. And I'll hand it over to the next guy, Helder.
Hello, my name is Helder. I am from Brazil, and it's the second time I'm on the round table. The second time is always better.
Nice.
Hello, Jeffrey.
I'm Jeffrey, and just like didn't quite get your name there, Helder. Here, this is also my second time on the round tables, and I'm pretty much a YouTuber who really does support Zack. I've recently gone back, and I'm also a dancer. So yeah.
Ooh, no doubt. So I got all these lovely gentlemen on the panel. We're going to talk all this stuff. So this past weekend, we had DC FanDome. I know the big event for everybody was pretty much and primarily was getting to see Zack's actual trailer for Justice League. And I want to go ahead. I'm going to start everything off. I want to start off with Christian, and then I'm going to just go ahead and go on around, just pick everybody randomly. I was like, after you watched the trailer for the first time, what was your main, what stood out to you the most? What is the main thing that stood out to you the most? And also, what are you looking forward to the most?
There was two things. The biggest shot that I was just like, oh my gosh, that's what I was here for. I'm ready for it. Was Desaad. That was incredible. I was so stoked to see that. I knew Desaad was in the movie. I knew he was cast and everything, but to actually see it, if I'm not mistaken, he looked pretty finished. Like his model and everything, the turn, and it looked motion captured. It looked real. The performance looked very real. There was just so much in that one little snippet of Desaad that overshadowed to me a lot of the other stuff, and that's that everything else was quite frankly amazing. But I was blown away by Desaad. I'm excited to see is it Peter Guinness that's playing him? I'm excited I'm excited to see what he does with the character. He's a fantastic actor, and I know that with the motion capture technology that we have nowadays, man, I am stoked to see that. The other thing that was kind of it was almost like it stood out to me, not in like a amazing way. It was kind of like a odd way. Was Uxas. I know everybody immediately was so stoked when they saw him, but I was kind of jarred. I was like, is he finished? He doesn't look super finished yet, but he still looked intimidating and he still looked amazing. And I was like, even in an unfinished form, I wouldn't want to mess with this guy. But those definitely stood out to me. Absolutely.
No doubt. Now I want to go ahead and go to Helder as well. What about you? What is some of the elements in the trailer, in your estimation, what actually stood out to you? The same thing that Christian. Yeah.
First of all, most excited me was the nightmare, the
Okay.
nightmare scene.
Okay. Yep.
It was simply mind blowing. I was not expecting to see the nightmare even in the teaser,
Mhm.
and
Whoops.
also I think besides the nightmare, what excited me more was the death scene of Silas Stone. I
Yeah.
I'm very much looking forward for the scene.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt, no doubt. Steve, what about you, my brother? What was the main things that stood out to you, and what are you looking for the most?
Man, like I knew Zach was going to go atomic, but I didn't realize how he scorched the earth. Why? I remember because I was actually like doing a gig that day, so I came in late, and I'm seeing like updates and everything, and then one of my buddies sent me the link. I'm like, okay, let's see what's this about. And then as soon as Uxus raised the axe, it's like my jaw dropped. I was like the ghost. I was like my spirit took got out of my body, you know. But I think the one thing it's kind of like the 30-second teaser that Zach posted, where Uxus is standing there. What took me out the most is that all the pictures that Zach posted, we see it in we see it in motion. We see it going right
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
and finished, and also in color and graded and everything. And
Yeah.
all of that. And when you pick out small little things like Flash running, like all those 3 flashes saving
Yeah.
people, then got bats like holding off the parademon blast and all that cyborg and every like we've seen like snippets of this stuff, but now it's in motion, and now is
Yeah.
that's what kind of blew me away. The entire trailer just blew. It's such a beautiful trailer, and that's what completely uh, t- it destroyed me, man. So I would say the whole thing, right? It's just Zach knows how to make trailers. Ever since that 300 trailer,
Yeah.
I remember watching that thinking, "What the hell is this?" And now watching this again, like same thing,
Yeah.
excitement. Yeah.
What about you, Jeff?
Really, the two things that actually three things that caught my attention are really things that no one really talks about. The first thing was really the song choice because because really I'm what because really like to me it was like very personal. Of course, it was very personal to everyone, and really just how the music and really with just how the lyrics was also it was like a double entendre the whole trailer with the song with it talking about both the movie and this whole journey that we went through.
Yeah.
And I saw that in a lot of reaction videos people really didn't get that because they really didn't quite understand. And the second thing that I noticed was really the aspect ratio which Zach put on which was like a whole cube thing. People were like questioning like, oh, why is that a big why did he choose that choice and not just a huge wide shot? And that just and really just with how big and really with how Zach was saying before, the reason why he wanted to do the whole aspect ratio differently with how he wanted the shots to be like very grandiose, like a very comic book panel esque. Like no one would really think about it that way, and I really did appreciate that. And the thing that really caught me was really the Flash is really, of course, the Flash being in the Speed Force. Man,
Yeah.
that really that really said that really was I think that was like the biggest flex in the trailer with Zach saying, "You see, this is not that jokey Flash that you saw in 2017. This is a completely different Flash that goes through something completely different." So
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to that.
That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. Well,
Yeah.
what we're gonna do, we're gonna make this real interesting with everybody because how I'm gonna break this all down. We're gonna have some discussions. We're gonna break all this down, and I'm gonna nitpick each other's brain with this trailer. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and go by it. And I know there's a lot of people that's gonna be out there. Some of the things that we're going to showcase, y'all gonna be like, oh shit, we didn't do that. Like, yeah, that's how it's going to be. Now, I did my long breakdown of the actual of the actual trailer to remind people what was going on. But I did find some other stuff in there that I did not announce in that. So we're going to together. We're going to go ahead and go over it. And but before we do that, mine is going to be brief. It's going to be quick because, like I say, there's so much. But I want to give you the main things that stood out to me and what I'm looking for. Basically, and that's the question I'm going to ask everybody. So I'm going to start it off. The question I'm going to ask everybody, I'm all over the place. What I'm going to say is, for me, the things that stood out to me is that, decide. That was one of the main things because out of everything we see now, a lot of people didn't notice this. If y'all look in the back on the steel, there's a flame in the back. Is that Earth being destroyed or is that Apocalypse? That is my question. Where is that? That's my question.
Yeah.
So you can decide. And the one thing that I'm looking forward to the most, and that a lot of people that feel understand is this Cyborg. I want to know. I want to see Victor Stone's whole arc because, like Zach said, he's a harder movie, which we already knew. But for the ones that are really, really into DC, Victor Stone's story, but how they're going to do it and how they're going to format it. So that's going to be the main question. So what I'm going to ask y'all, and while I pull this up, whose arc out of everybody, who's one that you're looking forward to? We're going to go ahead. We're going to start off with Jeff. Whose arc are you looking forward to the most?
And really, for me, it's really
you only get one.
Okay, then Cyborg, of course.
What about
you?
Cyborg.
Cyborg. Yep. What about you, Helder?
Well, Superman.
Superman's? Okay.
Yeah.
What about you, Steve?
For the longest time, it's Cyborg, but now I'm really interested to know what's up with Flash because this is a totally different Flash from 2017 now.
Yeah,
it's not Friday morning cartoon jokey Flash.
Yeah,
it's now like, okay, we got this man is going to save Flash is going to save,
the Justice League.
Yeah,
mine is Cyborg, and I think everybody has a very, very good outlook on whichever one. But honestly, it's everybody's.
Yeah,
but one's going to be a little bit more fleshed out than everyone else's. But everybody has something that they're going to be looking forward to. Now let's go ahead and look at some of these picks and stuff like that, and let's pinpoint a lot of stuff that a lot of people didn't really pinpoint. And I hope a lot of people that's on the panel have pinpoint these as well. And for the audience that's going to be looking and watching, I hope y'all pinpoint this as well. And if you haven't, maybe this is going to be a learning lesson for you because, hey, that's good for people to actually learn and know what the deal is. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to take a look at this. So I'm going to pull this up because I actually, like I said, I did a video earlier, but I'm going to pull it up. Matter of fact, no, I'm not going to do it that way. Let's do it like this. So everybody can actually see. Where is this at?
I'm also looking forward to see Aquaman's story. I think the story is probably different from the theatrical cut.
You know what? To be honest with you, that's a good thing you brought that up. That's a good thing you brought that up. People need to be honest with this, is that Justice League really was supposed to be the introduction of showcasing him and what he was about.
Yeah.
Now, it got altered because of the theatrical cut, and they brought it. I mean, because the theatrical cut was so altered, James Wan had actually put his main story in the movie because he was supposed to be introduced in Justice League. We're going to showcase that so everybody will actually see as a whole, because a lot of people are confused and they don't know. So the first thing I'm going to, God God dang, if I could pull this, oh, no wonder. So we're going to blow that up. So I know y'all see that. So we're going to look at this scene first. Let me turn this off. So we're going to look at this scene first. So I want to see what y'all outlook on this. So everybody that's out there, y'all looking at this. What is y'all outlook on this scene? What is y'all theory on the scene? Let's start with Helder because he say he is Superman. That's what he's looking forward to. Helder, what is your theory on this scene? Let's break it all down.
Well, I think he's confused, trying to figure out what's happening, or trying to remember who he is. I don't know. I never thought about this scene.
All
Really.
right. Not a problem. Not a problem. We're going to help you out, my brother. That's what the Snyder movement is all about, so we can help out each other for things that you don't know. We're going to go ahead and we're going to let Steve start this off. What about what is your theory on this scene, Steve?
Going to with Helder's, and I remember what Zach said about Superman being brought back to life, because now Superman tasted that afterlife, whatever the afterlife is with DC. Now he's brought back, and looking at Cavill, like the way his posture is, and looking down at, if you seek his monument, look around you, it's like, what is this? I was at peace, right? And now I'm brought back to life, and what is my purpose now? So there's a lot of questions. That's why Zach nailed it with his talk with Grace. You know, it's like Superman is such an interesting character when you construct him, and when you really look at who this character is. It's not shirt rips, fly through injustice. It's this man Clark, and now there's a different perspective, having been brought back to life, and looking at this is like, what I'm brought now. Now is the figurehead, the crown jewel, Superman. There's a bigger responsibility now, if you think about it, like going through Clark's mind.
Yeah.
Rebirth, right?
Did I lose it?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. What the hell is going on with my thing? Hold on, gentlemen. Something going on with this. Hold on. There we go. I was about to say, what's going on here? Okay. So, I mean, okay, go ahead. So, with that being said, what about you, Jeff? What is your, matter of fact, let's go to Steve.
Okay.
We did it.
Yeah. I think he did his theory.
You said what?
We did just basically the summing up. Clark tasted the afterlife, whatever that is, being at peace. Now, but brought back, there's a different perspective to the figurehead of all superheroes, Superman. And now there's a different perspective with Clark the man. And how do I go forward? I've been brought back for a reason. This is my rebirth. What do I do now?
All right. What about you? Steve? I mean, not Steve. Chris.
So, looking at this image, thinking about Batman versus Superman, the last time that Superman was alive, he understood that the world hated him. And so when he comes back to life, regardless if he's confused or not about like who he is, because in the theatrical cut, he was like, I don't even know who I am. And like, he was kind of freaking out, and they had to bring him back, kind of conk him on the head in order for him to understand, oh, I'm Clark, But just from looking at this image right here, looking down where it says, if you seek his monument, look around you. That was written specifically during the funeral, or like the I don't know what it's called, a vigil. Right, like for Superman. So there was hundreds of people around Heroes Park, around this statue. Even though it was broken, they were there, and his statue was broken. So they wrote that to represent, like, if you want his monument, well, look around you. This is what hope is. But to him, right there and then, there's no people there. It's just a broken monument. So if he reads, if you seek his monument, look around you. When he looks around himself, he sees a broken statue. So to him, he's probably still thinking, oh, everybody hates me. They broke my, he knows that Doomsday obviously threw him through that and broke him down. But I mean, I can only imagine what he's thinking. If somebody wrote that, if you seek his monument, look around you, it's almost like, it seems like it would be a slap in the face to Superman to say, look around you, his monument's broken. If you seek his monument, yeah, look around you. Like it's nothing's left. But that's not the context of why it was written. The context of why it was written was because there was so many people at the vigil, and that's what hope meant. But for him, that's confusing to look at that. And so I would imagine if he was already confused when he came back to life, kind of going off of what Steve was saying, I would imagine this is even more confusing. He's probably like, what the heck is this? Why does it say this? Why, like, my monument's still broken? Like the big thing, like why did I wake up right here? Because I mean, it's not like he knows where he got woken up. It's not like he knows, like, oh yeah, they took me into the old Kryptonian ship and brought me back to life using a mother box, if that's even the way they do it in his cut. So I can only imagine that adds to his confusion. You know,
now the concept of what you just said. Now they don't bring him back by the mother box. I'll pinpoint that after you hear Jeff. Jeff, what about you? What is your outlook on it? Because everybody's points is very, very.
Really, I think it has. I think the scene itself, like, let's say like, I'm gonna go completely left field here, and to say that it might not have to do anything with the mother box, actually. Because really, Zach has said multiple times that the codex is going to be a key factor in the situation that Clark is in. Now, what did he mean by that? Now, if you go back to Man of Steel, it is said in the movie that basically the codex has basically all the life points into a single body, right? So what if this happens where we have Superman die and we have one life of the codex that was, quote, dead, and then when he comes back to life, he's like physically back to life, but another life takes hold. Think of it like a kind of a reincarnation like thing, like you're the same person, but you're in a different body, but you're a different person, kind of thing. So I think with this right here, like, I think he's actually kind of remembering, like, I think in this scene right here, he's remembering the fight with Doomsday and him dying. But then at the same time, like you said, I think when he sees that broken statue, he's thinking that the world still hates him. And with that, I think that other Clark, so to say, is really kind of justified in, like, the world that still hates him.
Yeah. And basically what you and what Christian and what Steve said, basically what y'all basically said was everything that I was going to put in perspective as a whole, because mainly Jeff was right. It is the codex, because the codex is where he embodied all the heirs of Krypton. Every single heir, every single element that Krypton is embedded in him. So with everything being embedded in him, if y'all don't remember that with him being a Kryptonian, at the end of BVS, which a lot of people fail to forget, and they didn't realize that, we saw the rocks come up.
Yeah.
The codex was basically healing him while he was basically, well, dead. I don't say he was dead. He was just basically in a coma, in my estimation. He was just not just hurt. Yeah. So the codex is basically healing him. So with the sun's radiation and with the codex, it's just healing him in a slow process. Now, how they're going to revive him fully is going to be the question. We know the codex is involved, but how they're going to fully resurrect him. Now, does opening up his sarcophagus, does that, after they dig him up and he gets more of the sun's radiation, because he is in darkness, the sun is not really hitting him, the codex is hitting him. Once they open up his sarcophagus, does that really regenerate him fully as well? He might not have any power. So we don't know how it goes with the theory. But all y'all, everything that y'all basically said is right on point. Okay, because a lot of people that was looking at this, they didn't even know that was Hero's part. They didn't even know. They were just like, what's this? No, that's Hero's part. That's the scene right after. That's right after BVS and with the fight with Doomsday. And I'm very, very curious about this scene as well, because I want to see exactly how it pans out, because we know that the League is going to try to find him and where he went to. And we also know that Lois, will get to that part, sees him once he's resurrected. And she goes. We're not going to get that cheesy part that was in the theatrical cut that they reshot, showing her as to be the key to bring him back. No, that's not it.
No.
So
She's
we're
not
going to go
be
to
the
the
big
next
gun.
scene.
You know, Jeffrey brings up a point about the Codex and all these lives. It's kind of like a RoboCop scenario, right? When they brought RoboCop to life, it was just a shell, but then the ghost of Murphy started coming back.
Yeah.
So that's. But
Yep.
anyways, yeah. On to
Yeah,
my man Victor.
eventually he's gonna get his memory. He's gonna get his memory back, but we're gonna find out exactly how he's gonna puzzle everything together, because there's so many pieces that he's going to put together, and it's gonna be a little bit more sophisticated. And it's gonna make way more sense.
Yeah.
And because we already knew how it was gonna be, but how Zach and Terrio was going to write it and construct it moving forward. So we already know this scene. This is Cyborg. This is Victor Stone at the game. There's a couple things that a lot of people didn't see, especially with him doing the hoorah. So we get out of that. And then before we go further, we already know that his mother is going to be in that scene in a lot of ways. My only thing is that my question would be in this scene is that will a part that my theory on this with Cyborg is that, which is basically in a lot of iterations of the book, if you see it in the book or also in the animated, while his mother is there, will Silas be there, or is supposed to be there? And and at a point with him not being there, it pisses him off because he's not there. Because in a lot of versions of Victor, his mother is there to cheer him on, but sometimes he might get him a seat. He might give him an invitation. And you know how Silas is. He's so into his work. He negated his sons, he negated the game. Or he might come across and be like, F my son. Because Silas Stone is ass. For people that don't know
that.
Yeah, he
people
sucks.
don't understand that Silas Stone is an ass. Even though that he loves his son, we're going to find out exactly in the scene, because you got to remember, him and his mother departs after that. I want to know, are y'all anticipating this part as well? Because the game scene is very, very, very anticipated in my estimation. I want to hear everybody else's outlook. Anybody can take it.
Yeah, really, just like you said, because really for even throughout even through all the trailers, even through the full-on reshot version with the red sky, this scene has been heavily illustrated, along with another Flash scene that we're gonna get to with Flash saving Iris West. Those two scenes are really the most hyped up scenes throughout the whole trailers of the theatrical cut of Justice League that we didn't get. And so with this, I'm really excited to see what Zach was going for with this scene and really the whole context of it.
No doubt.
Yeah, I'm almost wondering where the placement of this scene is. Where's this scene going to take place in the context of the story? Is it? I mean, obviously, it's going to be a flashback because Victor Stone was already partially cyborg in Batman versus Superman through Lex's files. So I'm wondering exactly where this scene is going to take place and how deep are they going to go into? Is this moment, like you had said earlier? Is this moment going to be the catapult that leads him to becoming cyborg? Is he going to get upset here because his father didn't show up and his mother was there? They have an argument in the car, kind of like certain comics. They have an argument in the car. They drive off. They get in a crash. Even Doom Patrol, the reason why the explosion happened was because there was what do you call it? There was an argument happening within the lab, and that's what caused the explosion to happen. That's what caused the entire situation to happen to Victor. So I'm honestly wondering at this point where the scene's going to take place and what it's going to lead to.
Yeah, I'm thinking that too. That's a very good thing that you brought that up. Sorry, everybody. I'm going to start zooming y'all in when y'all talk, so y'all can actually, everybody can get y'all, so they can get your face. but yeah, in that as a whole, where it's going to go, because like I say, Chris had a very, very good point, and with that, so anybody else want to take a crack at it? If not, we're gonna go ahead and go to the next scene and go to it. It's pretty much, we ain't got to really talk about. We already know about that scene. That's redone. Finally, they got the dark palette back. We already talked about Uxas, pretty much. About the CG, and that's the thing that really, really bothers me about people with Uxas. What a lot of people need to understand is that it's not Dark Side yet. This is Uxas.
Yeah,
and people need to understand that in this part of the film, which I do know. All right, I know this for a fact. This is when Diana is telling Bruce the story of what's about to come.
Yeah.
Right, and she's telling him what is actually about to happen. Now, some people. They out there, they talking about, that the special effects don't look done or whatever like that. I'm like, I don't know what the heck y'all looking at. It look good to me. If you look at his face, if everybody pay attention, if you look at his face, look at his face. He has the dark side right here. He has his chin armor.
Yeah.
Okay? He has his chin armor. He just doesn't have his regular armor. So we know he doesn't have his Omega beams yet.
Yeah.
And that's what people need to fail to realize is that he doesn't have his Omega beams yet. He don't get that yet. He used a spear. He used a spear before he got his Omega beams.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay?
His eyes are glowing though, so it looks like he's leaning. He's leaning to get them. His eyes are glowing.
Right. He leaning to get them. But do he get them? Does he get them? Depending on when he gets them. My question would be, are they going to show how he obtains them? That's going to be my question, how he's going to obtain it, because like I say, that's going to make it a little bit more better for people to understand is that, look, he's Uxas now. He's not going to get his, once he get his Omega beams, that's when he transcends over to be Dark Side. So on that front, let's go ahead and go to this next scene. So I want to hear what y'all look like on that. Oh, I want to hear what y'all theory on this. Now, this is the one that everybody be tripping over. They don't know nothing about. We're going to start off with Helder right here. What is your theory on this scene? Because you said you want Superman, right? We want to hear your theories. What is going on here and your, what is your outlook on this?
Well, basically is what I have been read on Vero, that the Superman's screen is what awakens the mother boxes.
Yeah, you go.
Screen. Now, going back a little, the mother before the death of Superman, the mother box transformed Victor into cyborg when he was practically dead. Then I think that what awakened the mother box first when Victor was dead is when Clark killed Zod and screamed in pain. So I think it's Clark's emotion, Clark's pain that awakens the mother box.
Maybe.
Okay. That's a good theory. Go ahead, Jeff. I want to hear yours. Let's keep them brief, man. Especially with this. Yeah. Like I said, you want to keep them brief. Go ahead.
Yeah. So really, this is my theory on this. Like, pretty much like you said, this is the mother box's awakening. This is what causes the mother box to awaken. But this is something that not a lot of people have noticed, because if you actually zoom in on this shot, that you can actually see Wonder Woman right there. Now, I think the biggest theory that I think is that this death of Superman scene is from Bruce's point of view. I think this is going to be like a very cool parallel to how with how Man of Steel ended, with how BVS started, with the Bruce Wayne's point of view with his odds fight, and really how with the ending of BVS ends with the point of view of Superman. I think this is going to be. I think what's going to happen is we're going to see the revelation, and how really I think we're going to see Bruce's revelation about how he was wrong about Superman in this scene only from Batman's point of view.
No doubt, no doubt. What about you? Chris? What is your perspective and how you looking at this?
Well, I definitely know that what Jeff was saying is right. It is going to be the opening of the movie, and it is going to be kind of like from somebody else's perspective of what happened to Superman. I mean, that was Zach said that, but I'm wondering whose perspective. I know Jeff said Batman, but he did definitely alluded to it not being Lois Lane. He said there's a reaction and a moment from Lois in this scene, but man, I'm assuming it would be Batman. That makes the most sense. I wouldn't think it's Wonder Woman. Who knows? It may be Wonder Woman, or it may just be like a civilian or something, or like the people who saw this happen. I'm not entirely sure, but I know it's going to be a title sequence. I know it's in slow motion. I know it's very Zack Snyder, and I know that I'm ready for it. So I'm excited.
What about you, Steve?
Just going off what Christian said, and also what Jeffrey said, is definitely perspective, and I definitely think that this is going to be the title sequence, just like with BVS.
Yeah.
But I think maybe this is intercut with Steppenwolf getting ready to come down to Earth, because as Zach said, this scream. There's something about the Kryptonians and their power and their bloodline that really has an interest in this DC world, especially with Darkseid and everything. There's a reason why Superman going under the anti-life is kind of like the grand prize in a way.
Yeah.
So now, if we are to see, remember the opening of BVS and the intercut of your Bruce at the funeral and what happened. Now we see that could probably be the same thing here, maybe with Steppenwolf hearing the cry of Superman, the passion of Superman, and now it's like, okay, now I know where the mother boxes are. Now is my time to come in, because now there is no Kryptonian, right? Desaad says there is no Kryptonian to like stop him.
I'm going to piggyback off of everybody on what they said, but even though Zach, and this is just my thing, this is just my theory, I understand Zach said it's not from Lois's perspective, but I'm thinking he probably said that to throw everybody off, because I'm thinking it is from Lois's perspective. Hear me out. Remember, before he flew off and he had the spear, okay, she was the one that was looking clear as day as the whole thing happened.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman basically was fighting. Remember, she had the lasso on Doomsday. We can look at it from her perspective as well, but that's going to be an action point. Lois's perspective is going to be better, because we're going to see the emotion. We're going to find out exactly how she feels when it actually happens.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? We'll be able to see, we'll see her, how she's looking at Diana, looking at Bruce, looking at the whole scenery of how everything goes down. Why? Because she's not in a fight.
Yeah.
So, or that's my perspective. With the lightning and stuff, back to what Steve said was that that might be the initial call. Once he gets stuck and he screams, that lightning, that's probably the call, and let everybody know the mother boxes have opened up.
Yeah.
Because of that scream. So that's my outlook. I really, really think it's from Lois's perspective. I understand Zach said we're not going to get it from Lois's perspective. You know how Zach is. He's cryptic. So he does stuff to throw us off, to make us think something else. Yeah, it could be from Bruce's perspective as well. He might do both. But I'm really believing it's going to be from Lois's perspective, because that'll make the more sense, because we will actually see, like I say, from her perspective, but we're going to see the actual emotion from her.
Or it could be from everyone's perspective.
That too.
This is the opening title sequence.
Yeah.
You see Diana's perspective, everyone of this is the pivotal moment, right? That kind of changes the whole spectrum.
Exactly.
Everything that Superman has done in this series, from the initial time when Clark decided to put the suit, that changed everything, right? So
this is what causes Justice League to be a movie.
Yeah,
like Justice League wouldn't be a movie if Superman wouldn't have died.
Exactly. And that's the thing that a lot of people, that kind of gets me kind of bothered and upset with people, because it's like you're not understanding the full reason and the meaning behind it. His death is significant because it's in a real world setting. You know, people are not understanding is that you have people that embrace him, that love him, but you have the people that still question him. They're hating him for whatever particular reason, and that's the conflicting part. Now that he's gone, and they're going to. It's just like with the bad entity that's about to come, and something is about to happen. He's not there.
Yeah,
he's not there. The protector of Earth is not there. He's not there. He's gone.
Maybe you see Lex's perspective too. That's why thing pops up for baptism.
Yes, there's a lot of stuff that we can do with that scene. Yeah.
And that makes sense.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that it's a lot of stuff with this scene. And then, like you said, it's at the beginning.
Yeah.
No.
It would make sense to be a segue into like Lois waking up in that scene where, like what that was in the Heroes trailer for the theatrical cut. She kind of wakes up, and then from my understanding, she goes to a coffee shop where Zach is actually in it.
Yeah.
He's like drawing, and then she walks out and she talks to like I think a mailman or something. And then she goes to Heroes Park, and then like there's a big long scene that happens where Lois is just kind of walking around.
Yeah.
Which I imagine would be the credit sequence, but I guess it's not. This is, but maybe this is what segues into that, and it is from Lois's perspective. She wakes up.
Yes.
This is like kind of a dream of hers, like a nightmare. Remembering what happened.
Oh, yeah. No doubt.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and get to the next part. Like I say, man, we doing some nice stuff with this. And like I say, this scene is absolutely great.
Yeah.
Now, this scene right here, oh my God. This is, you know what? I'm not going to blow up, and I just want to hear everybody. What are some of the things that you actually saw so far? So we're going to start with Steve, and we're going to go down. What are some of the things that pinpointed to you that you saw? Because I know everybody probably saw all the same stuff, but what are some of your outlooks and your thoughts on what it is?
That what we saw in BVS with the whole nightmare sequence, this is supposed to happen in the timeline.
Yeah.
If you look at the narrative timeline of what these movies are, Nightmare is supposed to happen, and you do have a Superman that falls under the anti-life equation.
Yeah.
So that's because that's what this is. And if you follow the theories, if you look up the theories of time travel and everything, to boil it down, if all of us are talking right now, and then suddenly another Prime shows up in his box, it's like, yo, there's two Primes. But the thing is, we're not seeing that now. So let's say later on, in a couple years from now, we have a talk and say, yo, Prime, would it be cool if you go back to this moment? But that's an alternate, because it didn't happen in our current, what is happening right now in this second.
In our current timeline, yeah.
So what happened in BVS is Bruce's perspective, and that is his current timeline. So Nightmare does happen. So it's an actuality. But Flash does something to change this, apparently. And hey, if he's doing something in his movie, well, how did he do it? He must have done it in some previously. Huh? Yeah. 2 + 2 is 4.
Yeah. I've wondered about this scene because I know that when Zach talked about this scene at his his director's cut con that he had back in, what was it, Anaheim or Pasadena. He what do you call it? He talked about this particular scene and how it never came to fruition. He never shot it. I'm assuming this is, like footage from BVS that they were able to compile together before they either A, shoot some stuff, or B, just somehow put it together and realize his full vision. But I know he talked about this being Batman with like a half of Cyborg on his back, and the Flash is there. So we know that those three characters are in this sequence. What we didn't know was where was Aquaman, where was Wonder Woman, and I think this answers that. Wonder Woman's shield is in there. You see it, and it's cracked. And then if you look, you can see the trident of Aquaman, and it's not the Quindent, it's the trident. Mm-hmm. So that's in there. And then there's, I think, if you look somewhere around there, there's a painting of Thomas Wayne, and then the Joker card obviously flashes in front. So there's a lot of Easter eggs. There's a lot to kind of unpack in this one shot. So this tells you what happened to the Justice League. There's something happened, and then we know where Superman is. He's fallen under the anti-life equation, and that leads to Batman ending up, I guess, getting his heart ripped out or whatever, Injustice style. So I'm assuming, though, I don't know. Did this happen after Batman versus Superman? Does this happen in Justice League? And it's Flash's job to travel back in time and warn Bruce to get them together. Because if that's the case, I'm almost wondering, like, did it work? It doesn't seem like it did.
It looks like it did. But we're gonna go ahead, Jeff. What's your outlook?
Here's my outlook. Here's my biggest outlook. Like, really, I want to deconfirm something that you kind of just said, where you said that this was BVS footage compiled of the nightmare footage, where actually no, Sean O'Connell actually said that he was on set of Justice League, and this shot of the Hall of Justice was actually there. Oh, but wow. So this is actually in the Snyder. This is actually a Snyder Cut shot, and this is something that a lot of people are not talking about, and it's the color of the scene. Like, I think this nightmare scene in particular is actually a scene on its own, because we saw the BVS footage and it was all yellow. It was all apocalyptic and like all red sky because the sky was messed up. I think this is actually this is like right as the terraforming process is beginning, because as we know, that the terraforming process, the skies do turn red eventually. It doesn't turn red automatically. So I think where this scene is happening in particular is right as the terraforming process is beginning.
Okay. Yeah, that's very, very good. What about you, Helder? What is your outlook on it? And Chris, you know what? I didn't see Thomas Wayne picture in here. I was looking. Is Thomas Wayne in there?
Yeah, it's in there.
Yeah, it's in there.
It's
definitely in there.
Yeah.
You just have to really look for it, but it's in there, man. Even Zach said it himself. Zach pointed it out.
He said a lot of stuff in there.
I see Wonder Woman's shield.
Yeah, Wonder Woman's shield is right there. There's Aquaman.
I know Wonder Woman's shield is here.
Yeah, and then
the real trident is here. This is how I know.
The card obviously flops in front of the screen.
That's Joker's card. We know that.
Yeah, but Thomas Wayne's portrait is in there, and that kind of, I think Zach's, from what I understand, he kind of almost semi-confirmed that's essentially Wayne Manor.
Yeah, it's Wayne Manor. I know that. Yeah, that's Wayne.
Yeah, we knew that.
Yeah, but his portrait's in there. You just have to really look for it. There's a lot of stuff in there, but those are the four main things. Like Zach said, yeah, those four things are.
Oh, there you go. I see this right here.
Yeah.
Yep, it's right there. I see.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Wow.
see. So, what about you, Helder? What is your thoughts on this?
Well, I will state the obvious that this is the timeline where Dark Side won, where the League was defeated. So the Flash travels in time to changes, but where Art has become Apocalypse. So I want to be surprised. I'm very like I said, I very much looking forward for this whole sequence, and yeah.
All right.
You also say you say it all already, so I don't have much to add.
Okay, no problem, brother. No problem. Hey, we here to help you, man. We know, you know what I'm saying? So don't worry about it. We're here to help you. It's not a problem.
Yeah.
I would say my theory about this whole thing is that yeah, it is in the future. It is the actual the event that's going to actually happen. But I think this was supposed to be the initial and supposed to be part 2. And it's showing part 2 in the dream, because you got to remember, from Jim Lee and his storyboard, remember, they just see Darkseid.
Yeah.
The second movie is because they get effed up. They get so fucked up, they go and destroy the whole earth. So with the Justice League and everybody getting destroyed, and that's just what we're going to see, which will be in that, and which will be in this future. And this city that's up there, that's in front, that's Gotham City.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's Gotham City. For the ones that don't know, that is Gotham City.
Yeah.
Now, all these ships right there, those are all Darkseid ships terraforming. The one that's in the middle, yeah, that's a ship that's terraforming. Hold on, let me blow this up and go to the next to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all his ships. Now, me thinking, remember when I was talking about the Decide, and we'll get to that. But in the back, I don't know if that's Apocalypse or maybe it's this scene.
It could be. It could be.
Yeah, it could be.
You know, it could be this scene.
It
So
looks a little darker,
yeah,
but it could be just at night. I mean, who knows?
who
knows how long this scene is? I do know that you are right. This should have been in like, this probably wasn't in the 214 cut, or maybe it was. I don't know. But the reason why I say that is because Zach said in that podcast, he was like, what I've learned through this whole process is to shoot every shot you can. Like, no matter what it is, don't leave any cards not on the table. Like, put all your cards on the table, because there might not be a part 2. You might not get to make another one. And so just put like, if you're like, that's a cool idea, put it in the movie. And I think he's doing that now with this one, because he's like, well, they're giving me a shot at making the movie that I wanted to make, or the miniseries now that I want to make. Let me put everything that I can in it and pack it with just like some heavy stuff. So I'm wondering if this was even in the 214 cut.
You know what? That's a good question. I mean, that is a real good question. That's a very, very good question. I'm gonna say the significance with that Joker card. I think that's good that he put that in there.
Yeah.
He might.
It's the one from Batman's gun, no?
It could be from that, or we know it's Gotham City, but we know that it might tie in from the air cut.
Yeah.
Because you gotta remember, the Suicide movie is all messed up.
Yeah.
They messed that whole thing up because it was supposed to lead right into Justice League.
Yeah.
It was supposed to lead right into it.
Yeah.
So let's just say hypothetically, I'm just saying hypothetically, let's just say with Joker doing that deal with the Enchantress and Steppenwolf, that has something to do with it too.
Yeah.
Because she made a deal.
Okay, yeah.
Right, because that's why Zach probably put the Easter egg in there to let you know what? Yes, Joker is in here. He's in here, but what does it link it up to so people will know? Will he put a clip of Joker in here? Possibly. I highly doubt it, but it's a possibility.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, because I do know this, that in 2016 there was Jared Leto on Instagram actually put out a few images of him being in London, and in one of those pictures, and in one of those series of pictures, he did say that he's in London, and he was in his whole Joker getup. So he could possibly be in Zack Snyder's Justice League, which will then cause a lot of confusion for the casuals, and then basically make a domino effect for the air cut for people who might be confused on why Joker is in Zack Snyder's Justice League.
We gonna dabble into that once we break the rest of these down, because this is where this discussion is going to get real deep. Because that's a good thing that you brought that up, Jeff, because the key I'm going to say to people once this gets released, and what people are going to have to do, and we're going to get to this part because it's going to lead into this, is that they're going to have to listen to everybody and watch every single movie in sequence.
Yeah.
Because before you even start this is why I say, which is highly important, is that if they so happen to, as of the 12th of September, if they announce the air cut, because David Ayer said the movie is already done, they just got to do the actual to add the Steppenwolf ending. Yeah, David Ayer said his movie is completed.
Why the 12th of September?
Because on the 12th of September is when that's the rest of DC FanDome.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, duh.
Right. The rest of DC FanDome is on the 12th. So to announce that, so we know they got to have some other movies that has to be announced at DC FanDome. So the 12th is going to be a key month. If the air cut is announced,